views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, everyone. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee. Welcome to Open BXRX. We've got a fantastic show lined up for you today. In fact, check this out. Coming up on today's show, we'll speak to a retired U.S. Navy vet about how he survived the toughest fight of his life. Then we'll hear from the executive of an organization that is empowering young men and women to become environmental forces in their community. And after that, we'll hear from the founder of a juicing company to learn about how he is inspiring the movement toward a healthier community. And then Bobby C has the latest in the world of sports. And then finally, we'll talk to a local fitness instructor and CEO who is working with local youth to enact positive change in their community. So stay tuned. All of this and more is headed your way. We've got it going on for you. You know how we do right here on Open. We're wide open. Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, everyone. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee, and you're watching Open. It's that live interactive program that brings the Bronx and New York City straight to your TV set. We've got the whole community coming together, moving together in the same direction for a common cause. So you can stay connected to us through social media at BronxNet TV. Now, leading things off, our first guest is a retired U.S. Navy veteran and now a DJ in Virginia Beach. And he joins us today to speak about his miraculous recovery from COVID-19. So please welcome to the show, Dave Champion, a true champ.
Hello, how you guys doing? How you guys doing? Heard a lot about your show. Glad you guys invited me on, and I really appreciate it. Really appreciate it.
I heard you were serving with my daughter in the Navy.
Yeah, we started out a long time ago. We did a pre-com ship together. It's just starting the ship from scratch, bringing it up to par. And it was a great experience because it teach you a lot, and everybody learned to work together. And everybody on the ship became family. So that's a wonderful thing. We all keep in touch over the years. And it's a good thing, man, through the military and having friends like that just lasts a lifetime.
Dave, thank you for your service. We really appreciate you, man. Thank you.
No problem.
So tell us what you've been going through. I understand that you tested positive for COVID-19.
Mm-hmm. It's been a long road. I started out, I retired from the military, started living my life, enjoying life as it is. So back in February of last year, I started getting sick. I was very sick, and I could barely walk, could barely breathe. Yeah. And the whole time, everybody just kept saying it's pneumonia, respiratory infection. So I'm taking all this medical advice, and the whole time it was wrong, So by the time December came, I couldn't breathe on my own. I had an oxygen tank. I'm walking around with a pack. I couldn't breathe, and there was not a good diagnosis for me. I only had the COVID antibodies. I never tested positive, but once they tested me, I've been to everywhere, the VA, doctors. By the time, it hit me, my lungs were completely inoperable. The doctors told me that, you can, there's nothing we can do, but you can't go home. So I couldn't breathe the regular air. And, if I had to go home, I had a friend of mine that told me that I wasn't looking right. She was like, I'm taking you to the emergency room. Went to the emergency. They did not let me go home. So if I'd have went home, I would have died. I would have laid there, harder breathing, and I would have died. So
and here we are, breathing, getting air into your lungs. Now look up. You know where your camera is, right? Look up to your camera. You see your camera? Yeah. Look into your camera and say, "Thank you, Jesus."
Oh, thank you, Jesus, twice, 3 times. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah.
Like they gave me 2 days to live. I'm laying there on life support. I had a whole tube through my neck through an ECMO machine because my lungs were. And the next day, they was like, "Yo, we don't have enough air for you," because I couldn't breathe. Yeah. And the next day, a match, the perfect match came. And I couldn't walk, couldn't bathe. In 14-hour surgery, I got up the next day and put me on the walker, and I walked. And it was just a blessing. You know, I didn't even tell anybody I was in the hospital because I didn't want to be a sympathy story. And everybody already in the hospital, you know, it was a bad time during COVID because, you know, I was in hospital 8 months and people were
Yeah.
dying left and right. They can only bring them to the emergency room, let them take a phone, go upstairs. A couple of days later, they gone. You know,
Yeah.
and that feeling, I'm thinking about this the whole time, trying to get my life in order, thinking about where I want to go, my friends, my family, my kids.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
And did you feel that you had everything in order at that time? Because sometimes, you know, when you're on the brink, you're like, wow, do I have everything in place? Did that all of that stuff go through your mind?
You know what? You know, when I retired, I traveled a lot. I made it my business to be financially straight and just travel 4 times a year and just enjoy my life. But that wasn't
Yeah.
enough. I started thinking about people that I love, and I didn't spend enough time with them. So that was a
Yeah.
real mistake for me. So you know, once it was over, I started calling people that I love, my family, started spending more time with them because that's important. You know,
Yeah. Gotta let them know you love them. Let them
every
know how much they all love.
text message, phone calls, you got to let them know. So
Dave, what would you tell others who are going through this whole pandemic? You know, some people are vaccinated, some people are unvaccinated, some people are in a hospital with COVID, some people just had a touch of it and, you know, are just trying to live their lives. What would you tell people?
mentally it's draining. You got to be strong mentally. You got to prepare yourself for the worst. You got to prepare yourself. You know, be kind to others, man, because you never know when the day come. And you know, I learned that tomorrow's not promised. So stay healthy, treat people how you want to be treated, live a good life because you never know. You know,
Yeah.
frivolous arguments and disagreements with people is not even worth it. So you know, sometimes you just got to understand. You got to stay healthy, eat right, drink water, you know, because things happen. Um,
What about vaccinations?
well, me personally, I can't get the vaccination yet because you know the medicines I take about 40 pills a day for the rest of my life, and
Yeah.
anti-rejection meds and vitamins and you know a whole lot of stuff, and you develop, you know, a lot of side effects. Like one day I had a blood level, my sugar went up to 690. You know, at
Whoa.
300, in a diabetic coma, but mine jumped up to 690. I didn't even know it. You know, my
Whoa. Yeah.
called me. She was like, "Yo, you need to get emergency room right now." And so after that, I was in the emergency room for a hospital for like a month after that, and they gave me a surgery where they wrapped my stomach around my esophagus so acid wouldn't get in my lungs. I've been through like 4 surgeries, and the whole
Wow.
operation was about $1,500,000. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, shucks.
So, yeah, it's a lot. So
And this is going through the VA, right?
no. I went through. I had other medical care. The
Yeah.
VA, they have so many patients that the timing is not right. You know what I'm saying? VA is great healthcare, but you know,
Yeah.
through the situation that I was in, I need urgent care right away. So, yep,
Mm,
so
mm,
blessing.
mm.
That 20 years paid off.
Yeah. Yeah. So you were able to do other things, right?
Yeah, able to do other things, man. I thank God that you know I'm in the position I'm in because a lot of people aren't. So we got to make decisions about, you know, it make you think about a lot of stuff. I learned a lot about healthcare. I learned about a lot about the medical industry, how it works, and you know, through this whole process, I learned a lot. So
Yeah.
it's
Did people take the vaccine?
um, well, a lot of people. Well, you saying should they take the vaccine?
Yes. Because you
Um,
got a lot of people thinking that they shouldn't or they have antibodies and they don't have to.
Yeah, but see, with me, my immune system is low, so I have to wait until I
Yeah.
get it. Want me to take the vaccine just right now because my immune system is suppressed because of my medication.
But
So
would you encourage others to take it?
I would encourage others to take it because vaccines work. You know, I can say they medically work. I've done the all the other vaccines I've done before I went to Africa. Before I traveled out of the country, I take vaccine, I take medications, and it
Oh,
works.
being in the military, yeah, you get shot up all over the place, right?
The place. I've took every vaccine you can name. So this vaccine, I will be taking it because you know I understand the medical side of it and it works. There's some
Yeah.
people not to take it. They have a strong enough immune system, you know, that can fight it off with antibodies and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
back in history when they had the Spanish flu and all that, the
Yeah.
vaccine, you know, so you know, and it was a very bad pandemic, way worse than what we're experiencing right now.
Yeah. Dave, before we wrap, Are you on the talk circuit? Are you Zooming? You're talking to people, encouraging people to do certain things?
Yeah, we got a Facebook group that we're in. We're actually for the lung transplant patients, man. That's what we're doing. And I'm in the photography, I'm in the comedy, I do a lot of stuff. So every time I go out and do something, I try to gear it towards people being organ donors, or being an organ is very important.
What's your Facebook handle?
My Facebook is D Champion on Facebook, and my photography page is D Champion Images. All right, I travel. I do everything. Do shows, comedy shows, travel with photography. I do weddings. I do everything. So, and I'm also starting a podcast just like you soon. You know what I'm saying? We're going to talk about medical issues. We're going to talk about relationships. We're going to have different guests, and it's just very encouraging. So when you ask me on the show, I'm like, this is exactly what I want to do. So
there you go. So you give me your Instagram and Facebook one more time, and then I got a hard rap here.
All right, Facebook is Dave Champion on Facebook, and Instagram is D Champion Images.
The Champion. Thank you so much, U.S. Navy vet and the Champ's Miraculous Recovery. That could be a thing now. That could be a thing. Hey, Dave, thank you so much. We love you, man, and thank you for your service.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man.
You got it. We'll take a break. And we got more coming up next, right after this.
All right.
We built a media network for you.
BronxNet TV.
Come learn in your new state-of-the-art studios at Lehman College.
At Mercy College.
And coming soon to the South Bronx in the Hub.
Inspire with your stories, culture, history.
Your Bronx on BronxNet.
Engage with us.
Connect with us at your channels and at BronxNet.tv.
Learn, engage, inspire. BronxNet TV.
From the Bronx
to the world.
BronxNet.
When taking public transportation, don't touch your phone. Carry hand sanitizer and use it immediately upon leaving the bus or train. Avoid touching your face. If someone is coughing or sneezing, move away. Wash your hands with soap and water as soon as possible. Limit contact with poles. If possible, avoid rush hour. Don't eat or drink on public transportation. Keep your bag off the floor or other surfaces. Avoid directly touching turnstiles. Stay up to date with the latest from your local health department and CDC.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee, and our next guest is the Executive Director of Green City Force, and she joins us today to speak about the environmental programs provided to young people from low-income housing. So please welcome to the show, Tanya Gale. Tanya, welcome.
Thanks so much. Appreciate being here.
Now, when you speak about the NYCHA, what area are you in right now?
I am physically in Fort Greene, Brooklyn, but NYCHA is all across the 5 boroughs in New York City. So
yes,
NYCHA is everywhere.
I know. I grew up in the neighborhood over there by Queensbridge awesome. Housing, NYCHA.
The largest public housing in the world, Queensbridge. Amazing
exactly.
Space.
Yes, it is. So tell us about the wonderful work that you're doing within this space.
Well, Green City Force is a very, very intentional organization. We are prioritizing young adults who come from public housing across New York City. And we bring young folks into our program, which is an AmeriCorps program. And they serve their national service while they're with us. And they're building their workforce skills around the green economy, sustainability, urban agriculture, solar, recycling, composting. And these young people come to our program and we teach them about these opportunities. And then they go back into their NYCHA communities as leaders and messengers and really help other residents understand how to make their communities a more vibrant, healthier, more sustainable spaces. And then from that experience, we connect them with employment and career pathways so that they can become leaders and get paid to have jobs and career paths in this really important work.
There you go. Tanya, how long has this been going on?
So we started in 2009, and we've been full speed ahead since then. We've got over 600 graduates, have about 100 members a year, and we're hitting all kinds of communities. I'm actually trying to get us a farm out in Queensbridge at some point in the near future.
Wait, a farm in Queensbridge?
I know it sounds crazy, but we have, for the last few years, built and managed 6 large-scale urban farms in NYCHA developments. We don't have one in Queens yet, but we're coming. We've got one up in the Bronx in Morrisania. We've got 2 in Brooklyn right now. We built the one in Red Hook that's now managed by other folks, but we've grown and produced over 100,000 pounds of food. That's fresh produce for the residents. Our young people are the driver. They're the farmers. They're the designers and managers of these spaces. And the community comes out. We bring kids, teach them about where tomatoes come from, not from the grocery store, but actually from the soil. And it's a really amazing thing. And it's happening right in public housing communities where the people who live there are creating that awesome experience. So we're really excited about that work.
Keeping it green. I know who you can speak to in Queensbridge also.
Awesome. All right, hook me up.
We will. So tell us about Green City Force. What are some of the other things, some of the other programs that you have that make it all work?
So we have a lot of really amazing things because we really count on the young people who are in our program as people who live in these low-income communities to be our kind of thought partners, like understand, okay, what does the community need to be more sustainable? What is helpful? People need jobs, people need experience, but like the young people who are in our program literally knock on doors. They knock on their neighbors' doors and they say, can we talk to you about reducing your energy use? Can we talk to you about reducing your water use, and help residents understand why these things ultimately will be cost savings for NYCHA, which will be intended to go back into making the quality of the housing better, right? Because we all know there are challenges around the public housing. So it's really about changing the myths and negative stereotypes of young adults who come from low-income communities and really showing that they have this amazing talent and skill and passion to drive change. And then just straight up employment, right? Like, so career paths and having them as leaders. They're on rooftops doing solar installations. They're doing recycling programs. This amazing young man named Domingo Morales, who is creating a whole movement in low-income communities around composting and recycling. And so it's really fantastic. And the young people who graduate from our programs become the leaders in the physical farm sites. They are the managers. And so other young people see them as role models and say, how can I get that job? How can I get that experience? So it's really about a movement of systems change. It's really about showing the talent and potential and need for young Black and brown folks to be driving stuff that is typically not connected to people of color. People don't necessarily think of young community of colors when they think of sustainability. But we're absolutely critical because environmental injustice hits hardest in low income and Black and BIPOC communities. So it's more important than ever that the leaders and the people solving those problems are coming from those actual neighborhoods.
Yeah, when I was living in Queensbridge, you would probably knock on my door and say, can you please turn down the sound system? I was using a lot of energy, the electricity.
Yeah. Well,
but
we'd
it
rather
helped
have
me
you come
become
outside.
the person I am today.
No, absolutely. And that's we have Harvest Fest in the fall. It's like, come out, bring your family and come down to the farm and like have a pumpkin patch in the courtyard and bring your folks and have a DJ out there and share the community experience.
Now, if you was knocking on everybody's door and you was telling them about compost, how would you tell them to save? Would you tell them to save their garbage or put that in a different bag and bring it down to a certain place?
So we've done it a lot of different ways. So the places where we have the farms, we ask the residents to come bring us their non-meat scraps like coffee grinds, banana peels, exactly, eggshells. We ask them to come and bring those and a bag or container and exchange it for food for harvest, right? We don't ask any resident to pay for food. We ask for them to contribute by giving us composting, which we then can repurpose and then have it go back into the soil, right? Sometimes we ask folks to volunteer. So we ask people to recycle by distributing their different, whether it's metal or plastic or what have you. And we educate folks about how to do that in different roles we've had, the containers themselves. And it's really about an education and invitation for folks to change the way they address waste. And so we do it in a lot of different ways, but yeah.
Who are the people or organizations responsible or essential for this holistic approach?
Well, it's a combination, right? So it starts with the community, which means we will go to a particular NYCHA neighborhood and we'll say, okay, we've spoken to the resident leadership of that community. We want to understand who are the key stakeholders, whether they're community members, nonprofit organizations. We, of course, work very closely with NYCHA. And then ideally, we want to recruit as many people as possible who are young people from those communities. So all you folks out at Queensbridge, all you folks out at, Morrisania, all of our sites across NYCHA, if you're 18 to 24 and you want to be in this opportunity, then you're the creators of the vision of what's needed in your community. And we want to bring you on to be part of our team. So we do a whole landscape assessment of who are the people in the community. We have meetings, we have conversations, we do surveys, we ask questions, and then we present the opportunity of what we've done before and what we want to offer, whether it's a farm, whether it's education, whether it's hiring young people to be paid to be in our program while they get trained for workforce. So it's a mixture. We are very collaborative. We work with all kinds of organizations and individuals.
And what about funding?
Funding. Funding's always fun. So we have a mixture. We have a mixture of funding sources because we're an AmeriCorps program. Some of our funding comes from the federal government. We've been very fortunate in the past to have certain city council members support our work in particular regions. We have a major partnership with the Mayor's Office of Criminal Justice where they support our work in particular targeted neighborhoods. We have private funding. Individuals help support our work. There's a state organization called NYSERDA, which is focused on energy. And because so much of our work is tied to energy education, that's a source of funding for us as well. And then we have contracts fee for service. So we really have a range of different ways we try to get support for the program and the young people.
Yeah. Tanya, how can we find out more?
Well, you can go to our Instagram, you can go to our website, greencityforce.org. You could come out to our sites, Bayview houses, Howard houses, Morrisania Forest houses in Staten Island. We're at Meredith Harbor, Wagner houses. Come see us, check us out online, follow us on Instagram, and come volunteer or come sign up, come be a Corps member. Love to have
Tanya,
you.
we love you. Thank you. Executive Director, Green City Force.
Thanks so much.
Director. Yeah, you're welcome. Tanya Gale. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Dr. Bob.
You're welcome.
Take care.
We'll take a break. We got more coming up next on Open. back. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee from 107.5 WBLS. You're watching Open, and we're having a good time. Hope you are too. Our next guest is a fitness coach, an entrepreneur, a self-taught cook, and founder of Baba's Juice. Watch out. It'll make you healthy. It'll make you strong. And he's here with us today to shed some light on his business and to speak about his fitness journey and mission to create a healthier community. So please welcome to the show, Babafemi Ojudun. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Bob.
Now, we heard about this healthy juice. Tell us about it. How did you get into it? How did you get started with it?
Well, how did I get started? In 2011, I was going through some issues, overweight. I was overweight, stressed. Just my life was going in the wrong direction. So one day I had a meditation session with a Rasta friend of mine, and he asked me if I was interested in changing my diet because that could help me. Yeah. Because I told him I wasn't healthy. So I said, I'll consider it. He introduced me to Dr. Sebi. Are you familiar with Dr. Sebi?
Yeah, he has all the natural ingredients to just about everything.
Right. So once I spoke to Dr. Sebi, listening, he told me everything that I needed to hear. And then from there, I just went straight forward and changed my diet. And then once I changed my diet, I came up with these nice concoctions that were able to help me lose 100 pounds, that was able to help me relieve myself of stress, that was able to put me in the right direction where I wanted to be.
Yeah. Wow. And so now you want to share this with the community.
Definitely with the community. I started with family and friends. And then from there, I branched off and spread it to the community. So,
Baba, what's the most important juices that we can drink to make us nice and strong and big and healthy, or whatever you want to call it?
Well, you could drink all of them, but what I recommend are these three. Eje Ife. Eje means blood. Ife means love. Blood, love. Ibara juice. Ibara means the highest point. This juice will take you to the highest point. And our professional meal, our pro meal. This is plant-based protein. So this is going to give you energy and strengthen your blood. Eje Ife is made with African bark. You have, it's a secret African blend, but I could give you a few ingredients. So you have mango bark. You're familiar with mango. You have cocoa bark. I know you're familiar with the natural chocolate. Cocoa bark, that's high in iron. And cola nut bark. Cola nut bark is very, 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 very dear to me because I used to work for Coca-Cola. Yeah. And they use Coca-Cola. I mean, they use the cola nut to make their products, but they stopped using it down the line. But the cola nut originated from Africa, okay? Yeah. And the Muslims use the cola nut for energy, right? So what we do is we take the bark and we make it into a nice drink called Eje Ife, which is blood love. And it's gonna strengthen your blood. It's gonna give you energy. It's gonna send oxygen to your brain. It's gonna make you feel real good and put your body in a state where it wants to propel itself. Then you have our Ibara juice. This is made with cola nut bark, Cameroon pepper, and also ginger. It's spicy and good, and it's gonna give you energy. This is our natural energy drink. And last but not least, this is our pro meal, our professional meal. And this is for guys like you that are always working and never have any time to eat. This right here, you could eat and run. Basically, this is made with whole grains. So you have kamut, spelt, and rye. And then also, I throw in a little extra protein. So now you have almonds, walnuts, and sesame seeds.
That's what's up. Let me get my cooler, put a little bit of ice in there. I put a few of those in there during the day.
Wait, one more. This is what I'm drinking right now. Water is life. Water is life. And I'm telling you guys, we're not drinking enough water. Everybody should be drinking more water than they're eating, right? So this drink that we make is called Omi Ife. Omi in Yoruba means water. Ife means love, right? Water, love. So what we do is we take an African herb called vetiver, but we call it gongon lily. And we infuse it into the water, which helps to strengthen the reproductive system of men and female. It also calms the nervous system. It also puts you in a Zen mood, but it tastes like rainwater, like nature. It's very delicious.
You have Baba's home-based catering service now, right?
Yes. And before, I mean, not even before, but last year I was trying to open up a small restaurant on Fordham Road. But when COVID hit, it slowed everything down, and I had to pull out because I was in jeopardy of losing a lot of money. So I had to retrack and come with another game plan. So I said, you know what, let me continue selling it out of my home.
Yeah. So COVID has changed it just a little bit.
Yes, yes.
So it put a damper on you. Lost a little bit of money, or what? What happened? What happened during the pandemic?
I lost a little bit of money, but then again, it was a wake-up call, and it was actually a gift because I was able to focus more on, you know, people on social media that was looking to enhance their health. I was actually able to visit family and friends that weren't able to go out and actually deliver foods to them. So it was more of a gift because I had more intimate relationships with people.
Right, right. Well, how important is that social media with the success of your business?
Oh, it's very important. I have over 3,000 followers, close to 4,000, and most of the people that are following me, I know them personally, a good percentage. Yeah. And from going to St. John's University, plenty of people from St. John's, Clinton High School, even people from my elementary school, people from my neighborhood. It's very important because they see me and they saw the growth. Yeah. They saw the growth, and they're so interested in what I'm doing, and they would like me to help them out. So it's very important that I utilize social media because that's the way I tap in to my family and friends.
And you mentioned two places, St. John's University. You used to attend there. And what if you stocked it with your product, the vending machines, and you also work for Coca-Cola? I think you ought to pay them a visit.
I know. I would love to, but I don't know if it will receive this very well, you know, because when I went to St. John's, man, the food was crazy.
I know.
It was crazy. I put on at least 30 pounds in college.
Yeah, you know? Yeah.
And I mean, hopefully it changed now. Hopefully it's more vegan friendly. And if so, I would pay them a visit, you know? Yeah.
Let them know. Hey, you may be able to use these in your vending machine, or strike a deal with Coca-Cola. They may try to buy you out, though. I'm not.
Listen, nah, you can't buy me out. You can't buy me out. No, not at all.
Yeah, so, you know, we appreciate you and thank you for all the wonderful work that you're doing in our community, trying to educate and keep our people healthy. You know, it's an important thing with all the bodegas out there. And some bodegas are a lot better than what they used to be. But, you know, you're bringing some good product to our community, and we appreciate it. Where can we get more information on it? And where are you? Can we go online to get it, or are you situated in a particular area where we can buy it?
Well, all my information is on my website, www.babajuice.com. My contact information is there. You can order juices offline. It will get shipped and delivered to you within 2 to 3 days, depending on where you are. But for the most part, you can contact me on social media at Baba_Juice or Drink Baba Juice or Baba Juice Cuisine. I have Facebook, Babafemi Ojudun, and that's it. You know, I'm very much so available.
Baba Ojudun, he's the founder. Thank you, Baba.
Thank you,
Baba. Now, you know, sports figures are into your drinks and into your food because they want to stay healthy and be as strong as they can to do the things that they need to do to become successful. So check this out. Bobby C is up next with the latest in the world of sports. Next.
When taking public transportation, don't touch your phone. Carry hand sanitizer and use it immediately upon leaving the bus or train. Avoid touching your face. If someone is coughing or sneezing, move away. Wash your hands with soap and water as soon as possible. Limit contact with poles. If possible, avoid rush hour. Don't eat or drink on public transportation. Keep your bag off the floor or other surfaces. Avoid directly touching turnstiles. Stay up to date with the latest from your local health department and CDC.
It's called the handshake of the century, and the man keeping that historic image alive in 3 dimensions joins us this morning to talk about it. Renowned sculptor Mark Mellon is with us. Mark, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you, Bobby?
It's so great to see you. So great to hear you. I mean, obviously, this has been a challenging time for everyone, but this is some real exciting news for you. 75 years ago, just before Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier in Major League Baseball, he shared a moment with a teammate in 1946 that will last forever, and your sculpture brings that moment to life. Tell us all about it.
Well, indeed it does. This was Jackie's first hit with the Montreal Royals under contract with Branch Rickey of the Dodgers. And at this point in time, we didn't know whether Jack Roosevelt Robinson was going to make it to the big leagues. And he didn't know. He knew that it was being referred to as the Great Experiment. He also knew that there were managers out there and well-known sports writers who were dissing him in the press, saying that, oh, he's a little overbuilt for, too muscle bound for to make it in baseball, that he's maybe doesn't have the capacity, that he didn't, he'd never hit major league pitching. I mean, stuff that we look at now and we say, that's crazy. And but he also felt that he had the weight of his race on his shoulders. He had gone through a wretched trip with his wife to spring training in Florida, bumped off a plane. He was at an airport before that where he couldn't get fed the way he wanted to get fed. You got to go around to that restaurant there or to the other door. All that stuff. What we think of as Jim Crow, what we think of as ancient history. Well, this was Jackie Robinson's life, and when he hit that 3-run home run, as he said, he felt the dam burst between him and his teammates. That George Chuba watched the first 2 guys it was a 3-run homer. The first 2 guys continue on to the dugout. George Chuba, who had played integrated ball back in Youngstown, Ohio through his youth, he leapt forward, extended his hand with a big grin. Jackie met that grin, and the photographers this was national news. It wasn't just sports news. This was national news. This was a biggie. You had 25,000 people in Jersey City in an integrated stadium. There was no such thing as seats for the black ticket holders, this section, and the whites over here. So this was in many ways a breakthrough for America. Yes, I couldn't be more delighted to be working on bringing this historic moment to more eyeballs, and it will stand forever
So that handshake obviously really signals his arrival in America's pastime. It happens in Jersey City, but your bronze statue is actually created in the city where Jackie becomes most famous, and that's Brooklyn. You are a Brooklyn native. What does it mean to have that work being done there, even though long-term it's going to be in Ohio?
Your roots are important. And I was born and bred in the big city. Most years there was not money for camp. I spent the entire summer playing ball. It was basketball, baseball, touch football, paddle ball, handball, you name it, stickball, and Jackie Robinson is a personal hero as well as a hero of the Brooklyn, and he's a national hero. So to have this project at the bronze foundry that I've been working with for over 35 years, the B.D. Mackey Art Foundry, they did the Iwo Jima monuments. They did the bull on Broad Street. I mean, they're known for major public artworks that are the best of the best, that speak to a variety of values that we can all embrace. And what's another level of magic for this project is that as sculptures around the country are coming down because they were put up for all the wrong reasons, some of those were funded 100 years ago by the KKK, and just to put the fear of God in people. And KKK was an equal opportunity discriminator. They hated blacks, they hated Jews, they hated Catholics. And they put up a lot of the statues we're seeing come down today. It's a great opportunity for sculptors, artists of all kinds today, to create public art that speaks to our values going forward, which are values that embrace the diversity of America.
You know, to me, Mark, that moment is clearly larger than life. I think it's fitting that the statue is 7 feet tall. And I also think it's fair to say that that moment has changed America forever.
I think so. It's very fair to say that. And, I agree with all the major historians who look at our country and mark Jackie Robinson's ascendance to the Brooklyn Dodgers as the birth of the modern civil rights movement. And that moment where he broke through with the Montreal Royals, they ended up winning the pennant. He was promoted, and as they say, the rest is history.
You kind of mentioned it just a moment ago. Why is Jackie Robinson perhaps more important than ever in 2021?
As I started this sculpture, it was you began to hear news of the Black Lives Matter movement, but it was pre-George Floyd. And that moment, coupled with the moment of a few years before of the guys with tiki torches marching through Charleston, it presented a very public reemergence of the realization that we're still dealing with in-your-face racism, and I understood that this moment of joy, of a mutual handshake that was showing respect, understanding, equality, spoke to values that we all give lip service to and sometimes forget to remember in the moment. And I think more Americans are open to thinking about who am I, how have I been to my neighbors. It's a magical moment, and the statue reminds you that America can be better and will be better.
I think it's also fitting too because George Shuba was such a family man, and he treasured that photo. He kept it in his home for his, for the rest of his life. And actually I had read that his son Michael had said in an interview when speaking of his late father, many times in my life, he went to that photo and said, "This is the way you need to treat people."
That's exactly right. That's really what this is all about. If we just do unto others as we'd like them to do unto you, however that phrase goes, I mean, it's a better world automatically, and it's something that that too many of us have not paid heed to. But we have the opportunity now to tweak our behavior, maybe open our eyes a little bit to what it's like to be in that other guy's pair of shoes. I know for certain that the amount of anger that's being spewed daily, that we have to find a way to tone that down. It's important to our well-being, and especially when you think of your children and grandchildren.
Well, thank you, Mark, for keeping positive messages alive through your art. We definitely appreciate the time. It's so beautiful to see that statue.
Thank you so much, Bobby.
Welcome back, everybody, of the Doc Bob Lee from 107.5 WPLS. And our next guest is a CEO, author, fitness instructor, and founder of South Speed Fitness. He's here today to promote his new book, Memoirs of a Traveling Trainer During the Pandemic. So please welcome to the show, Michael Figueroa. Mike, welcome. Boom, boom.
Thanks for having me, man. It's an honor. Thank you so much. Thank you, man.
Hey, Mike, we have a few things in common. I understand that you did some amateur boxing.
Yeah.
I did that. I did the PAL, some amateur boxing. I did
wow.
gold gloves.
Wow.
And my daughter and I did some Taekwondo for a hot minute. And then I ran the New York City Marathon.
Oh my God.
Well, I ran a block or two.
Oh, what happened?
I was interviewing P. Diddy. I was like, yeah. And I was interviewing Mike Nobby, running along with them in an interview.
Hey, like, interview is done. I'm done.
Exactly.
Wow, that is tremendous accomplishments, Bob. That's incredible. I didn't even know that. Wow.
Yeah. So tell us about you. It's about you today. And how did you get started into fitness? What triggered this whole thing?
Man, many moons back, I grew up playing baseball, little league, traditional, how it is being Puerto Rican, growing up in the Bronx. You're playing in, Katona Park, you're playing all these, little league fields.
Right.
And then all my uncles were professional boxers. So I
Oh,
will
all right.
box. Yeah. I will box during the winter just to maintain, stay in shape. But baseball was my future. And then I went to South Bronx High School, and shout outs to the Phoenix. I noticed that baseball started to look like it wasn't in my future. Guys were shooting up, and they were getting really tall, and fastballs were getting faster. And so I just, ventured off in boxing. And I started boxing at the age of 13, started taking it serious at the age of 16, 17, had my first amateur fight at like 17. And that was it. And then I started working in a mailroom for a law firm in the city. And I was still boxing at the time, but training wasn't a profession of mine. And then I was just really like depressed with my job. And a friend of mine who worked there was a trainer at New York Sports Club and told me I should think about being a fitness instructor, and the rest is history.
So you started doing that, and after a while you broke away from being a fitness instructor at the health club and started your own.
Yes. I mean, it's ironic, right? So it's like, I'm a real DIY type of guy, right? Do it yourself. And it was the same mindset that I had even when I was like writing this book. It was just like, just do it yourself, man. We're such an independent time right now where you just see a lot of entrepreneurs and that entrepreneur spirit.
And during the pandemic, I mean, it had everybody sit back and scratch their heads and say, what am I going to do here? Right? And so all the creativity begins to come out when you're sitting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, you know what? And for a person like you're a trainer. You need that movement going on. And you couldn't just sit there during a pandemic. So
no way.
A lot of things started happening for you. What happened?
Absolutely. So, we were all affected by it, and I was just sitting home, and I was just watching these daily briefings, by the mayor and by the governor, and just engrossed by the whole entire situation. And it dwells on you. And like you mentioned, though, because of how I'm wired and what my makeup is, I just had to get out there. And I was just really just thinking of creative ways to find ways to work out. And it was difficult because you got to maintain safety and still try to get a workout. It was the most challenging time for my career and my whole entire career. Sorry. It was the most challenging time.
When did you decide to sit back and say, you know what, I need to put together this book?
So it happened in my travels. I was training clients. I normally would train all my clients at Mendez Boxing. Shout out to Mendez Boxing. When the pandemic happened, all the gyms were closed. And, so a few of my clients were like, hey, would you mind training me at my park? And I had a client that lived in Brooklyn, a client that lived in Queens, a client that lived in the Bronx. And I'm traveling all over these boroughs. And along my travels, I'm seeing some wild stuff, things I've never seen before. You know what I mean? I'm 34 years old. I've been in the city all my life. And these are some things I've never seen before. So I would just put on my phone little notes here and there. And at the end of the year, around towards December, I was like, wow, I have a lot of like notes here that, I would love to share. And I really felt like I wanted people to understand the perspective of what a physical trainer had to go through, and the clients as well, because we were all affected by it, but just the irony of risking our health on trying to be healthy.
Yeah. So you came up with the name Memoirs of a Traveling Trainer During the Pandemic.
Yeah.
And how did I guess it was an easy name to come up with, because that's what you were doing, right?
Right. And it wasn't like, wasn't so much, it was a journal, but then it was more memoirs, because it was also a journal, but then also with my certain ideas and my little quotes and stuff and little side notes that are associated with that. And there's some interesting nuggets in this book. I hope that people can find some inspiration and some humor, because this book is filled with all that.
What stands out in your mind? What's a couple of quick nuggets if you don't mind, and then we'll buy the book to get the rest.
my favorite chapter is Horseface. There's a chapter called Horseface in there, and it's anybody who's taken the train has seen or have gone through this situation. I think it would be relative to a lot of people. They were like, wow, I've seen this happen. That's my favorite chapter in there. And then just the overall grind, though. I think if you're a native New Yorker, you're going to appreciate it. It's very charming. And if anybody who has an idea what New York really is, this is it, man. All the illustrations and pictures I took myself. It covers everything from me getting my lunch at a dollar slice place and the traditional bacon, egg, and cheese, being late for the train and being late for a client and having to pay a $42 Uber to go 2 blocks south. Inflation is real, man.
Yeah, for real, everything. And then since the pandemic, everybody said I want to try to get my money back, so everything said whoop.
Yeah. Oh my Lord. Everything, man. Everything. Except for our pay, right?
Yeah, I know. So your ultimate goal is to become a fitness professional to help motivate and encourage your clients to live a healthy lifestyle and to make wiser choices for themselves.
Absolutely. Mentally and physically. I think fitness does a lot more for the mental than it does for the physical. It releases endorphins and serotonin levels, and it just puts you in a more euphoric state. And I think in this time right now, we have experienced such a dark time that fitness, man, it is the most natural, safest and cheapest way, man, just to overcome any depression or anything like that.
Hey, man, Mike, thank you so much, man, for coming.
Thanks for having me. It's an honor.
Always welcome back.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
yes,
give me a quick website because they're gonna wrap me.
Absolutely. You can find me at Instagram at Southspeed, Twitter at Southspeed, and our website is southspeedfitness.com.
Thank you so much, Mike.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
And he has that gym, he's a traveling trainer, and he has the fitness Southspeed gym. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
You got it. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for tuning in and checking it all out. Always remember this: what you are is God's gift to you, and what you make of yourself is your gift to God. So choose your choice. Let your choice control the chooser. For all of us here at the Bronx Net, have a great and enjoyable day. And we'll catch you another day, another way. We love you all. I'll see you over 107.5 WBLS. Peace.